Hello and welcome to TIOmarkets price action analysis. Let's talk about S&P 500. This index traded lower with the other US stock indices last week, but now there has been a bounce. So let's try to understand what might be happening today and over the coming few days. And meanwhile, we'll talk about disclaimer and other stuff. Maybe you want to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out of any of the good analysis that we do provide here. But one thing we don't provide, that's investment advice. You should watch this video only if you agree with the fact that all the material made available is for educational purposes only, and if you agree with this disclaimer. Okay, so here we have S&P 500 E-mini futures chart into our time frame. If you compare these to CFD prices, they are likely to differ a little bit, but if you go and study the sort of peak points where the market has turned to the downside or to the upside, you can pretty much get an idea of what I'm talking about, which levels are the ones that I'm focusing on. So what happened last week kind of plays into or has a role in what we are seeing at the moment. We talked about, if you go to TIOmarkets.com/analysis, you can see that we talked about up here how the markets were moving into defensive stocks. So the market participants, the big pension funds, etc., were positioning themselves into utility stocks, and they wanted to be, in relative safety of those stocks that pay dividends, are less volatile, etc. So that's usually a sign of markets getting weak, getting a little nervous, and maybe selling over. And yes, now this time it worked perfectly. Markets got weaker and came lower. Until last week, we had a trend higher here. So there we go. The market broke the trend line and then rallied back to the trend line, or the sort of confluence area where you have both the trend line and you have the previous lows there. The market rallied into this confluence zone. You have the 50 period moving average, you have the low, you have this channel, or not channel, but a trend line there. So all these things came together and sent the market down again there. Now, what happened since? Yes, we made a new low and then found support close to this support level here. The market rallied from the level. Actually, the buyers came in the early Asian session a little bit above this level, which is bullish. So if the market participants feel that they don't want to wait for the market to move all the way down to the support, and I think this level was tested. Yes, it was tested once before already, so it has some significance there. So if they feel that they can't wait to get in at the level, they start buying above it, so there's competition to get in. So that's a good sign for the bulls. And now the market has rallied a little bit. That's obviously good as well. But what we are really interested in, what might be happening today, what might be happening over the couple of days, the next days. And before we go there, I want to just share something with you so that there might be new traders watching this who want to learn things, and it's highly important to support them. That's what we believe in here at TIOmarkets. So here's a channel tool, and if you take the recent highs using this tool, when the market is, say, rolling over from this top, say the market is somewhere here, then you have this low in place already. So you have 3 points, you have A and B and C, and this gives you an idea of how far the market might move when it moves lower. And see how well this worked. It works quite often. And now that the market moved down and it hit that channel low here and came close to that 36.52 support, the buying started really. So that's how you can use this tool quite effectively for your trading. And another way I want to add value to your trading is really I want to ask you to focus on levels where you have technical confluence, levels that have been important in the past and levels that have some significant technical factors coming together. And at the moment, they sort of what sticks to my eye here is this high. That's 37.74 roughly, and you have the 50 period moving average there, and you're not too far from that channel high either. So I would say this is obviously a highly interesting and important level there. So if the market rallies up there, rolls over, then we know that, yeah, the bulls are not very strong. But if market just sort of rockets through the level, this gives you an idea that the bulls are really committed to this market. So that's one level to look at. And then obviously the recent low here is another important one. And how should we look at this level or how could we trade this level or play this level? If we see the market maybe, because it's really not too far from this key level there, and obviously could roll over even now, you can see how this market is. If I point you to this level, here was a support. Here the same level was a support. Here it went through, but then there was a little bit of resistance, and then market is back to the same level again. So again, this might be a somehow important, psychologically important level. But if the market now rolls over from here or from there, nobody knows beforehand, but let's say that the market rallies higher and rolls over from there, comes close to these lows and then starts to buy again. If the buyers step in to defend these lows, then we have, again, some evidence that the bulls are in control. And obviously, if that's what we see happening, then we should play along and go with the market. Using the stochastics oscillator here as a guide on what might be happening with this market, it is at the moment pointing that we are losing a little bit momentum and we are at overbought levels. So if we are at levels that could cause, maybe now or fairly close to these levels, could cause more momentum loss and maybe market rolls over a little bit. Who knows exactly to levels that, nobody knows exactly the levels where it's going to go and then bounce if it bounces. But if you want to know how market could be moving higher, there's two options really. The market has to either create a higher low or it has to break the resistance levels. If the market just keeps on going lower and breaks the supports, then obviously there is no strength in the market. So this is how the S&P 500 looks at the moment. And one more thing I want to show you, and that's VIX index. Just a moment. Okay, this is the daily chart for S&P volatility index, and this basically tells you when the markets are really nervous. When you see VIX moving higher, that tells you that markets are getting really, really nervous. When you see VIX moving lower, the markets are getting more, they feel more safe. The investors are pouring money back into more cyclical stocks and into more risky plays. So this is something to keep an eye on. Obviously, we don't know the future. We can't tell you what's exactly going to happen in the future. But I hope that this video will help you in the near future, today and over the couple of days, helps you to understand what's going on in the market and how to position yourself, and maybe helps you in creating your own trading plan. Okay, thank you for your time, and as usual, trade safe. I wish to see you in the webinars and on the next video, but maybe you can also share this video with your friends. That would be great. I would really appreciate that. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer the questions, so leave a comment below, and and I will make sure I answer your questions if I can. So take care. See you soon.